Here we go. They stare at the gate. It drops.
Here we go again. The second time, and Keith Little gets it again. Unbelievable. The number 12 of Keith Little. Wow, I bet he was upset coming into this thing saying, I got the whole shot. I was doing great. Now he's doing it all over again, so congratulations to Mr. Little.
Guy's unbelievable. Look down the inside. The Honda going for second place. It started out with Little, Goodman, Natali. Natali now working it hard.
Well, the three Hondas up front again, so they obviously like this Kentucky track, but look who's lurking behind this time. That would be the yellow of Suzuki instead of the green of Kawasaki. And wow, that was a big move around the outside for Chad Wienen, the number 44.
And a good move, too, for John Natali as it got him around Goodman. And then Wienen made his move. That put Wienen into second. Natali now sits at the rear of the leader, Keith Little.
Well, Little claims lap number 1, but he really has John Natali and Chad Wienen very close. Remember, in the last race, or almost race, Little managed to hold Natali off for a long time, but I think with Natali being pushed along by the 44 of Chad Wienen, the yellow bike you saw come through the frame, they're going to start catching up to Keith Little pretty quickly.
So, Keith Little, he's become trademark as rocketing off the gate.
Oh, it's whole shot. Look at this thing. Blazing through again. He manages to get that. There's absolutely no doubt. In fact, he's doing a wheelie as he comes over the orange line there. Take a look at this.
That tells you something about the power he has, too, as he just leans back, lays the power to it, and off he goes. Now he's going to need every inch of the advantage he got because John Natali's coming up to take it away. Wienen moves to the far side, stays in third place.
Well, the problem for Keith Little is where do you go? Do you defend the inside or the outside? Because you saw just there, you go one way, and Wienen's coming the outside, Natali's on the inside. It's a pretty tall order for Keith Little to hold these two guys off.
Well, but Natali, look at this. As Wienen again moves that high sideline, he's used that regularly, but Natali is under attack by Wienen while he still is trying to get Little.
Oh, this is some great racing. Keith Little is going to somehow got to hold the red bike and the yellow bike behind him. And you see Natali try and move to the outside there over the finish line. Will he get him on the inside now?
Oh, they fly side by side. Natali moves to the inside. Natali's got him. What's Wienen going to do? Wienen's right there. He charges on Little. They round the corner together, and Wienen grabs second place.
Wienen loves the outside line. He just uses the momentum. It's like a slingshot on that Suzuki. And there you saw him take Keith Little. Wow, two great passes there.
Oh, they were. In fact, they're so much worth it. Let's look at it again.
Well, here you see Natali. He got the inside line by being faster over the finish line jump. Nothing Keith Little could do there, but watch Wienen. He goes around the outside, and he keeps the gas going. He keeps the throttle on, so when you come out, you're already moving outside of the corner. Valiant job by Keith Little, but just no way to hold these two guys off.
But I want to tell you, it is not over yet. You said how much Wienen likes the outside. You saw him try a move there in the hairpin onto the inside as he continues to challenge John Natali. Natali's in that typical position for him, right out front.
And look at this. Wienen is challenging him at just about every corner. John Natali right now seems to have more straightaway speed when he gets onto these jumps, like the big six-pack here, the Super Six they call it. He starts to pull away, but as soon as they get close to a corner, Chad Wienen is right on his rear bumper. Wonder how long this is going to last until Wienen maybe sees a little bit of daylight.
Of course, the further they go, the more exhausted they get, and that might play into Wienen's hand. Again, not to overemphasize it, but Natali has had injuries, and not just little injuries, and they have to be eating at him.
Hey, you know that he's got these injuries. You know they were bad, and yet somehow, when he gets into race mode, he looks as fresh as he possibly can be, and he fights every single lap through the race.
Racers can do that. I don't know quite how they do it. They focus on the racing, and the pain tends to go away.
Oh, Natali and Wienen are starting to pull away now from Keith Little and the rest of the pack. And it's very interesting how fast in a straight line John Natali can be, but how good Chad Wienen is on the cornering. I mean, look at him again there, diving to the inside. he's trying to find a faster route around, and there's an awful lot of laps left in this race. I wager that he may just find it.
On that last really fast corner, I mean, he came downhill, rolling to the outside, off-camber corner, and he hangs right onto it. Here he rims the outside again, getting really close to that pole on the exit of the corner, and continues his pursuit of John Natale.
It's almost like he duct taped the thumb throttle of the bars there. He just keeps the thing wide open. And look at how close he's getting on each one of these corners.
Look at that. He gets up side by side with Natale. Natale slams the door on him.
That was a great door slam from Natale. Great, clean racing. He just got right in front. There was nowhere for Chad Weenan to go. Look at the outside
tries
move.
it again. He rings that outside line. He almost gets Natale there, but Natale runs out with him.
Wow, this is some phenomenal racing between the Honda and the Suzuki. Natale and Weenan battling lap after lap right now, but John Natale is still holding Chad Weenan off.
Wow, this WPSA run is terrific. Look at that great shot as Weenan comes right over the top of the camera in pursuit of John Natale.
And I just noticed as the two guys here are battling, Keith Little is actually starting to make up a little bit of ground again to try and catch them up. So they may be slowing themselves down with all the beating and banging in the corners. Their lap times are dropping a little bit. Is John Natale holding Chad Weenan up? That's the question that I've really got, because if Weenan gets through, will he be able to just cleanly pull away?
Well, and Weenan has been kind of moving in different positions, maybe trying to convince Natale that's where he's coming when he may not.
Oh!
Look at that! Look at that! He's been rimming the outside of that. Natale moves center track, anticipating it, and Weenan runs right down on the inside on him.
Well, that was an incredibly smart piece of racing from Chad Weenan. As you said, Paul, every time on the outside, and this time just swings to the inside.
Well, he got all of us on that one, because we were saying the same thing. He's been going outside, sweeping up on the berm, and then he pulls this off, and that gives him the lead. Oh, nice work, Weenan. That was great. Well, John Natale is going to have to catch Weenan and pass him if he wants to win this thing. There's still plenty of race to go. We're back. There is your leader. He has begun now to pull a bit away from John Natale, sitting back in second place. In the meantime, some pretty good battles going on elsewhere in the course. Keith Little, early leader, guy who got the whole shot, and Doug Gust, and that's a battle for third place.
It's been quite a battle, but Little, just like he was holding off John Natale, he's holding off Doug Gust, but Gust keeps pushing it. He's really looking for an opening past Little, but these are two wily veterans of racing. You can bet it's going to be a battle for quite a while, and probably a battle all the way to the finish. But watch Gust. He tries to find lines on every corner, just as he does here, jumping to the inside there. That's a great move from Doug Gust.
And then taking a little bit of a cue from earlier, when Doug Gust does that and charges down inside on what is obviously a passing area, does it for a couple laps, is in fact at a setup. So when he gets there and it's expected, then suddenly he's on the other side.
And let's face it, Doug Gust is not afraid to use a little bit of muscle if he has to kind of get you out of the way. So it's not necessarily good to have Doug Gust anywhere on the inside or outside. He's coming fast there on the outside line again, but it's so tough to pass here just before the finish line. There's very, very little area to come by. So Little, the number 12 bike, the red bike there, holding off the 55, the yellow bike of Doug Gust. And again, Gust is our reigning WPSA champion. He took top spot on us last year. Good battle, and a great weekend for Keith Little. He keeps pulling out these hole shots and managing to stay here in the top 5 in competition. Oh, Gus trying to get on the inside.
Well, he just keeps at him. Bob's your uncle, as they say in the UK. Or is that an Aussie? You're the Brit.
We should ask some of the good people, the good folks of London.
Well, we're doing that because we're in London, Kentucky, watching some great racing. Powersports Tour is looking so strong here. Doug Gust trying to catch up to Little. Little got that whole shot once again. Whoa. Gust may have him this time. And you're right. He tries a little muscle on him. Doesn't intimidate Little, though. Still, he plays that combination corners. The left-hander, he moves to the outside and then darts into the inside for the right-hander. And so Doug Gus now moves up a position.
That was a very, very interesting move. The mistake that I think Keith Little made was he mistimed things when he came into the whoops there. You know, Doug Gust had all the time in the world to go past it because Little had really slowed down with that little bit of mistiming. In fact, you saw him kind of nose his bike in on the whoops, almost went right over the bars. So that was what Doug Gust was waiting for. He didn't have to use muscle. He just kind of found his way through.
And you know what? That can really bug you. That's an acknowledgement there. He pulls the tearaway off, and there's Little's crew. They're saying, come on, guy, don't just give it up after that one. Go back and get him again.
Well, I was surprised that Doug got through that easily. I thought it was going to be much more of a battle, but, you know, when you're so far into one of these races, let's remember, they already raced a good few laps in the red flag race before this, so fatigue is definitely starting to set in. That's when the little mistakes happen.
Look at this as they come through the jump. Gust. There's Little, and look that. Right behind Little, that's Wimmer. And Wimmer's now closing on Little.
Oh, that's not a good thing for Keith Little to see. I mean, he doesn't have a rear view mirror, but I'll guarantee you he's taken a couple of looks behind. He sees another yellow bike approaching, and arguably one of the fastest guys on the circuit, the 191 of young Dustin Wimmer. He's got this great Suzuki ride this year. He battled Doug Gust last year and took second in the series. So Wimmer now challenging the number 12 of Keith Little.
Open section of the course where speed really counts. Look at Wimmer, and he pulls that inside pass off.
It's like Suzuki team orders on Honda. Fake him to the inside. And it was exactly the same way that Chad Wienen passed John Natale. Take a look at this. He goes outside, fakes to the inside.
Well, you've really got to be able to ride and be able to pull that off. So coming down at full speed inside there, get that wheel on the inside, then come down on the brakes. That gets you the pass, but you got to have some sack to do that. Last lap, white flag is out.
And it looks like Wimmer is actually starting to gain on Doug Gust there too. So let's see if Doug Gust can hold off Dustin Wimmer. And meanwhile, Chad Wienen here, he's ripping out front.
He is looking so good now, not challenged in any way on the last lap. The number 44 is solid. John Natale Jr., he's second place right now, but he's not even in the shot. He's so far back.
And you can see the mechanics there on the side of the course as they go by. I think probably shouting, tally ho, Mr. Wienen.
In the meantime, look at this on board.
And here we go, Chad Wienen. Oh, yeah, waves to the Suzuki guy.
He's having a little fun with everybody now as he works on the last lap and works toward the checkered flag. What a great run this has been for him, and he fought for it. John Natale mounted an attack, couldn't get it done, and Chad Wienen takes the checkered flag. Natale second. Take a look at that. Wimmer with that last lap pass on Gus takes third. Here's the start once again, Tess.
Well, again, that whole shot by Keith Little, we can't say enough about how well he does that. But then it becomes a battle between Natale and Wienen, and look at Wienen's fate taking Natale on the inside.
That was a nice piece of riding, and it took him all the way to the checkered flag. Congratulations to Chad Wienen. You know what? When we come back, let's just have a conversation with him. Right on. Super day for Chad Wienen as he fights with John Natale and takes the win. Let's go down and talk with him. Here is Kimberly Pressler.
You got to be feeling really great, especially after that race.
Oh, I'm feeling great. You know, just the Rockstar Energy MSR Pro Taper Suzuki Yoshimura Quad Racer 450 put me out in a third place start, and that's exactly where I need to be to make my moves. And I'm more of an endurance rider and a sprinter, you know. Just, oh man, it was a great race.
You and John were battling it out like crazy. Why don't you tell us when you guys were going elbow to elbow there?
Oh, we came up by the tail for two corner, and he came on the outside a little bit, sweeped out, and I just dove in, and I tried to move like that yesterday, almost got him, but it made it stick today.
Absolutely. Now, tell me, you guys, I had such a great week for you guys, Suzuki, Yoshimura, and Rockstar. You guys gotta be happy with what's going on over in that team of yours.
Oh, we're ecstatic, and we couldn't thank everybody enough, especially the fans. I can hear them out there. They just keep you going, motivated, and especially my dad showing up here. You know, it was just started out to a great weekend, and you know, it's good to go home.
Well, I'm going to let you go celebrate because that was one great race. Congratulations, Chad Meaning, taking the win today.
Thank you.
Official order of finish posted now. Chad Wienen.